last year when I was with my ex-wife, there was this very interesting mirror in our relationship, this very interesting parallel. See, my ex-wife, she was a very expressive woman. She loved like wearing a bunch of makeup. She loved like wearing like flashy clothes and stuff like that. And I love that about her, right? She was super fucking hot, so I mean, she was fucking killing that shit. And you know, there's this more innocent version of that from her childhood, that she loved to color. And throughout our relationship, there would be times where she'd wanted to, and she told me about it, but she'd always just been inconsistent, right? She'd never made it like a consistent practice that she wanted to. And it was so interesting that I'd seen the exact same thing in myself, like over and over again, with drawing. Growing up, I loved drawing. I loved making comic books. And I'd had these like two superheroes called Anything and Fantastic. I've actually been in the lab writing like philosophical fiction about them. I'm dumb hype about that. But actually, go follow my Substack, The Erotic and the Holy. I'm going to be posting like snippets of those, so tap in. Those are going to be like short stories and stuff. It's going to be fire. But basically, I love drawing growing up, but I haven't really drawn much the last 12 years of my life. After like 10 years old, I loved drawing with like my best friends in elementary school. Their names were Samir and Jamar. Jamar, he left our school. He actually moved. I'm from New Jersey. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. That's like North Jersey, central-ish, but like North Jersey. My best friend Jamar, he'd actually moved to South Jersey after 4th grade, and so you know it was just me and Samir after that. And then after 5th grade, Samir had actually started going to boarding school, so I was kind of solo, and so I just didn't have either of my boys, you know, that I love drawing with, that I love creating with, and I was also starting to feel more insecure about my skills and about myself, so I really stopped drawing, you know. And I'd always had this desire to come back to it, but I just never really did, you know. And throughout my ex-wife and I's relationship, I would see this parallel, and I'd always thought it was so interesting. And one day it came to me, and it really clicked. I was like, this is like a reflection of like our unwillingness to just be and not care about what we have to say, or not care about what other people have to say, right? We always assign this like we always just wanted our, like, you know, for me drawing or for her coloring, like we always wanted it to just like be a like kind of like a feminine, like flowy practice where we just like give of ourselves and it's just fun, right? But there was always too much like stigma or like notions behind it. Like I always wanted to be good, or she always wanted it to like, you know, be like the perfect time, or, you know, like have like the great vision, you know, and like perfectly execute whatever, right? All this perfectionism. But perfectionism is really like, more often than not, because most people aren't real perfectionists, where like you see something that's wrong or that you don't really like and then you actually just fix it. Most people see something that they don't like, or they see a potential thing they won't like, and then they allow that entirely to stop them. That isn't perfectionism, that's just insecurity. Right? Like that's an insecurity response. Not I actually want to make this the best thing I fucking possibly can. That's different. That second thing is obsession. That's good. The first one is just insecurity. You see what I'm saying? And so like I saw this insecurity in my ex-wife and I, and it stuck with me over the last, you know, year since we split up. And it's just been so interesting to see how life has been a mirror for me over and over and over again. Life is always mirroring things to you. Reality is a mirror, constantly. The people in your life are mirroring things to you constantly. Your art, when you make things, they're mirroring things back to you constantly. The circumstances in your life are mirroring things to you constantly. Your algorithm is mirroring your consciousness, your state of mind, constantly, bro. Your entire reality is a mirror. It's all showing you these things in yourself that you're not really perceiving because you're just too close to the situation. Right? Think about it like this. When you're too close to yourself because you're living in an experience, you can't really see yourself. Right? Like, I mean, can an eye see itself? No. Right? Not without a mirror. You're exactly like that. You can't fully perceive yourself without the mirror that all of reality is providing to you. And so it's our job as alchemists to figure out, where are these mirrors in reality? Where are they showing up? And how can I see these things that reality is reflecting back to me? And how can I understand what it's showing me? How can I then integrate these things that I've been leaving out? How can I alchemize this lower perspective to a higher perspective? How can I release these things that I'm holding on to that are no longer serving me? This is really how you start changing. But it comes from being able to perceive what's in the mirror. This only comes if you're actually looking at the mirror. And so I want you to have this paradigm that, like, life is always showing me things that I need to learn. It's always trying to hand me lessons. Life is always trying to teach me things. I have to be willing to see it. Right? Like, this is a perfect example, actually. I was walking back home from the park a few weeks ago. And I was probably like 20 feet or so away from like crossing the street, and then, you know, like from like where the street is, so I can step off the sidewalk to the street and then cross the street, right? And so there's a car turning that's like basically about to be in front of the street and about to turn onto the street, rather. I'm like 20, 30 feet on the sidewalk away from like the curb, you know, away from the street. But this car is like slowed down, damn near to stop. And I'm just looking at the car like, why the fuck are you like damn near stopped? Like, I thought it was like looking at me, right? I'm like, why is this like person looking at me? It's like, you think like you want fucking smoke or some shit? It's like what's up, bro? And then it's just, you know, slowly turning up. And as the car slowly turns and rounds the corner, I see in the front seat, super old lady, curly gray hair, glasses, probably 67 years old, pretty short. And I just say in my mind, I'm like, Jada, what the fuck is your problem? This is an old ass lady. And she's just trying to get where she wants to go safely. That's awesome, right? It's like, why are you sitting in here judging her for driving slowly? Why are you even having judgment? It's like, oh, wait, if there's judgment that I'm projecting outside of myself, that means there's judgment in myself, right? That was basically, here's a core teaching I need you to understand. You only judge things outside of yourself if you judge them within yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can only allow things outside of you to affect you, either other people judging you or you judging them, right? There's only that judgment if there's internal judgment. External judgment is a byproduct of internal judgment. And so you can only feel externally judged by others if you internally judge yourself. You can only externally judge other people if you're internally judging yourself for those things other people are doing. Let me fix that second one. Not necessarily with that second one. If you have true judgment, like how Jesus taught us, have like the judgment of Christ, like spiritual discernment, not judging people for, you know, what they present, but judging people for like who they really are, seeing people for the Christ, right? When we see people for who they really are, and then we say, hey, you shouldn't be acting this way because this isn't who you really are, right? When we're coming from love, even if we're slapping them, when we're coming from love, that's cool. But coming from judgment, saying you shouldn't be this way, you're bad, no. That's no. Saying you shouldn't act this way because that doesn't reflect who you truly are, that's a much better approach, right? And so, like, judgment's important, right? Jesus judged people all the time. He went left and right judging the Pharisees and the Sadducees for their hypocrisy. But that's because Jesus was calling them to get back into alignment with God. Jesus was coming from the heart. Jesus wasn't arrogantly judging people because he thought he was better than them. He was judging them because he wanted them to follow God. He wanted them to live righteously. They talked about it, but they didn't really live it. That was Jesus' problem. And so he was calling them out. That's cool. But just judging people because they're living in a life that's living like they're living some way that you don't understand or that isn't aligned with how you live, no. That's coming from ego, from separation, not from love and from oneness. And so it's like, where is the judgment coming from? Is it coming from the ego that wants to control, that wants to belittle, that wants to be arrogant, that wants to be above, that wants to have power over, that wants to feel like it has a greater sense of self than others, right? Is it coming from that? Or is it coming from, I want to help this person. I want this person to see their mistakes so that they can be better. I want this person to see who they really are so that they can give who they really are to others. Because that's beautiful. This is bullshit. So have some wisdom, have some discernment about which one you're giving. And the thing is, you're only going to give the one that you have for yourself. And so if you're judging yourself with this one, with the bullshit, then you're going to be giving other people that. But if you're coming at yourself with this righteous judgment of like, hey man, like, look, you're not a piece of shit, you're not like the worst person in the world, but you know you're BSing. Like, be aware of that. Don't play yourself. You know what I mean? Like, don't deny when you're being full of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Even if you're going to keep acting that way, at least recognize and be aware that you know you're being full of shit. You know what I mean? Like, at least have that like spiritual judgment with yourself and be like, nah, this isn't really my highest version. You know what I mean? Even if you understand that it's probably going to be hard for you to transition out of that, still put attention on the fact that you recognize that you could be better. You see what I'm saying? That's awesome. And so judgment for growth, judgment for belittling, no. Have wisdom. And the thing is, you can only have that wisdom if you're willing to recognize that like that comes from within. That comes because I'm judging myself or because I'm loving myself. And so when I'm loving myself, there's going to be like that masculine challenge, right? Like the feminine love is like, hey, I'm going to accept you. I'm going to, appreciate where you are. The masculine love is like, hey, I see you and I understand where you are. Shit's real. You gotta fucking change. Go get the fuck to work, bitch. Because you could keep acting like this. You could keep being in this like, this is like where the non-duality trap lives, right? This is where like a lot of new age motherfuckers get trapped. They're in this shadow, distorted version of like the feminine, where they're surrendered. You shouldn't have surrender if you feel like life isn't actually all good, because that's what your human experience is telling you. If it's telling you it's not actually all good, you gotta change some things, you gotta fucking change some things. And so you better use that masculine pursuit, and you gotta go fucking change those things, bitch. Don't fucking play with me. Don't be out here and it's like, oh, it's all love and light, baby. It's all good. Nah. I talked about that in is there such thing as too much spirituality, right? The non-duality trap is very dangerous. Don't fall for that shit, bro. Have discernment. Recognize when you're bullshitting. When you're like, it's okay, man. It's all good, baby. No, it's not okay. It's not all good. Yes, have gratitude for where you are. Yes, recognize that like where you are is beautiful and it's a part of the journey. And recognize that you don't want to be here and you want to fucking move. That was loud as fuck. Recognize this ain't where you want to be. You want to move. You can hold both simultaneously. You can recognize that, hey, this is where I am, and that's okay. Like, I'm grateful for where I am, but I want to go there. That's awesome. That's awesome. Have that. Don't be in this place of like, oh man, I don't really like my life right now, but I guess it's all good. No, fuck that. That shit is whack. No. So have that judgment, have that discernment, right? And be willing to take that action. Because sometimes loving yourself is the masculine challenge, where you need to put yourself through the pain of the alchemist's fire to purify yourself. To shed away the falsities. That's how it is. You have to put yourself through the grind, through the work. Your life is constantly reflecting things back to you, always. Through the people in your life, through the circumstances in your life, through the things you're giving of yourself to, right? Through your art, your teachings, your stories, whatever you're building, your business, right? Always reflecting things back to you. And so I want you to look at life as a mirror. Reality is a mirror, always trying to reflect things back to you. And so like when you see things, I want you to see like, okay, well, what's in myself that is trying to show me? right? When there was that judgment with the old lady, I didn't finish telling that story. When I see that lady, right, I went within myself and I was like, well, where's this judgment coming from? I was like, you know what? I'm a fast driver. I like driving fast. I'm a fucking speed demon, is what it is. Slow drivers usually judge fast drivers. There's like that polarity, that continuum, slow drivers, fast drivers, right? And so since we're opposites, we judge each other more often than not, right? Opposites usually don't understand each other. And so I'm a fast driver, I usually judge slow drivers, and slow drivers usually judge me. And so I see this slow driver, I'm looking at her, kind of like subconsciously judging her, and almost thinking like she's judging me, even though she has nothing to do with me, because I'm not even driving a fucking car, I'm fucking on legs. What are you talking about, Jaden? And so I kind of have this insight, I'm like, bro, Jaden, you're a fucking idiot, you like driving fast because you're a fool, okay, whatever. There are people who just value driving slowly because they want to be safe. This lady, this woman, has, she's taking precautions. She's driving slowly and safely because she has more time on this earth and she has things that God's calling her to give. It's not her time to go yet. And so she's ensuring that through her driving. It's fucking beautiful, right? That's fucking sick. And after I did that, I literally alchemized the situation, right? I thought about that. I was like, yo, that was fucking alchemy right there. And I literally recorded like a little voice memo about it. Ever since then, I've realized, bro, alchemy is second nature for me. Alchemy is literally second nature for me. That's why I'm making my second course, Mental Alchemy Mastery, for my program. I have my first Mental Alchemy course, Mental Alchemy 101. So if you want to get like the practical action steps, like I literally wrote this guide for 40 hours, spent hours writing the action steps, really thinking about that, putting it in order, and then recording it into a 2.5-hour guide. You can also read the written version, but that's available for our school program over Masters of Alchemy. But I'm developing a second course called Mental Alchemy Mastery, because after that situation and then another situation, this one's more personal, I don't really feel comfortable talking about that situation, but after that one, I was just, alchemy is literally second nature to me at this point. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I have to teach people this, because this is the master key to reality. If you can have alchemy, you always have a weapon. You can never be a victim if you're an alchemist, because everything is for you and nothing happens to you. Everything is for your evolution, everything is for your learning, everything is for you to gain wisdom so you can discern truth from falsity, discern what serves you and what doesn't, so that you can experience God's love at a greater clarity. Everything is for you so you can experience love and wisdom. So you can experience love and have more wisdom to experience greater love. That's all of life. All of life is a game of loving life more and having wisdom to discern truth and falsity from what serves us and what doesn't, so that we can experience that love of life and that love of God more, and so that we can expand it, multiply it, create it. That is what life is. Love, wisdom. And so all of your life, all these mirrors, all of these teachings, all these circumstances, right? All of these negative experiences, nothing is for you. Nothing is happening to you. Nothing is happening to you. You are not a victim. You are not a victim. You understand me? Get that pussy ass mentality out of here, bro. I understand, life is real, bro. I will never try to victim shame you or none of that shit. All that shit is whack. Anybody who tries to victim shame or put victims down, that shit is for the birds. Get that shit up out of here, bro. Nah. I would never do that to you. I will always hold you and recognize your experience, because life is fucking real. But at the end of the day, you do not need to allow your experiences to define you. And that's what a victim does. A victim allows their experiences to define them. An alchemist, a creator, allows their experiences to forge them, to purify them, to make them into the highest version of themselves. All negative experiences are perceived through this light of, this is for my betterment, this is for my evolution. When you have that mentality, life is still hard, but you can't really suffer. I don't stay trapped in negative thought loops, because at the end of the day, I understand that all things are finite. One of my favorite teachings from Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas, he says, this heaven will fade away, and the one above it will fade away as well. And I like to interpret that as this current experience of love, of bliss that we have right now, it's going to fade away. And that ideal that we're reaching for, this vision, this thing that we want, that we're desiring, that we're moving towards, that we will eventually attain, that's going to fade away as well. Reality is finite. Reality is shifting, right? And so you may hear that and be like, wait, so Jaden, like, what's the point? If all the good times are just going to go, like, who cares? But it's like the point is to experience as much of the good times as possible so that you can experience greater and greater amounts of pleasure and fulfillment in those good times. It's to experience a greater depth and a greater breadth of life. It's to expand your capacity to experience the depth of God. And as you move from one heaven to another, you expand that capacity. But the thing is, that comes with the polarity of heaven, hell. Because only by experiencing hell and understanding what you absolutely don't want can you transmute that into higher consciousness, higher awareness. You can expand your capacity for understanding reality. You can expand your capacity to transcend yourself. And as you self-transcend, you expand your capacity to love. Love is inherently self-transcendent. And so as you expand your capacity to love, as you transcend yourself, as you expand your sense of self, you expand your capacity to love. You expand your capacity to give love and to receive love, to experience love. As you expand your awareness through wisdom, through alchemy, you expand your capacity to love. You can expand your capacity to give more, to receive more, to give more of your gift to the world, to receive more for your gifts from the world. That's love, that's beautiful, that's life. Life is about evolution. It's about development. That's the point. It doesn't ever stop, guys. It's never going to be over. So, like, let me just get you out of that mindset. Yeah, the good times fade, but the bad times fade away, right? If this heaven will fade away, and the one above it will fade away as well that must also mean that the polarity is true, right? This hell will fade away, and the one above it will fade away as well. The hell you're currently experiencing, it won't last forever, guys. And you may be in it right now. And the thing is, right now, it's probably too hard to transmute that experience because you're just too close to it, right? The thing is, like, it takes space and distance to gain enough awareness and perception to actually alchemize things. If you can't understand why something happened, even if you don't have full clarity, but you can't surrender into the fact that, like, it's for your greater purpose, right? Like, for me, like, there are going to be things that come into my life that I have no fucking clue exactly why this is for my purpose, but it is, and I know that. And I know God is only guiding me on a path that serves me. And so I can always surrender into the fact that regardless of the hell I'm currently experiencing or that I may in the future be experiencing, right? It's going to fade. It's going to be for my betterment. I'm going to become better. And I can surrender into that. That's beautiful. It's gonna be over and I'm gonna be better for it. Say less. All right. I'm willing to keep walking in the dark then, baby. Because I have that trust in God. Because I know that God is leading me, right? But this takes space. This usually takes time. Because the thing is, when you're too close to the situation, you can't perceive it, right? The earlier analogy was like, can an eye see itself? No, not without a mirror. Let me give you another analogy. Imagine I tell you, like, look at the hands in your line. Look at the lines in your hand. If you put your hand right up to your eye, like right up to it, could you still perceive the lines in your hand clearly? You can kind of see it's like blurred here. You can maybe see like this big one, but you can't really see the small ones, right? But if you just move it back 4 or 5 inches, oh, all the lines are clear again. When you're too close to the situation because you're currently living in it, or you're still feeling all the emotions, right? You're just too close, you're too in it. When there's not enough space, you can't actually see the situation clearly. And without this clear perception, you can't actually alchemize it. That's how it is. Alchemy comes by being able to transcend the duality and perceive it clearly, right? You transcend that there's, this is bad, or like this is happening. Like you transcend. Let me like clarify this real quick. Give me a second. I'm trying to give you an example. You know what? I'll say this. So, I'm not going to say all the details, just because it's too personal. I don't want to share that. It's also not my business. But basically, this woman I'm dating, she told me some, like, bad news. Not really, but, like, kind of. And it got me kind of, like, sad for a while, right? And I was in this place of, like, feeling, it was very interesting, because I've gone to this place recently, with women, where it's like, yeah, like, I love having women in my life. Like, this woman I'm dating, like, she's fucking awesome, right? I love having her in my life. But if she isn't there anymore, it's like, cool. Like, that's awesome. That's actually good. Now I have more attention for my purpose and my mission. Or to put into women that are more aligned, right? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, we're up. But basically, this day, I was kind of feeling like a bit insecure and also a bit sad, right? But it was coming from this place of, like, of the ego, right? And I realized it was because I wasn't holding the opposite perspective, which is, like, the soul's perspective, right? And the soul genuinely felt, like, love and appreciation and, like, care for her, right? It's kind of like that notion of, like, if you love them, let them go. You know what I mean? I got to this place of being like, yo, like, regardless of the fact that my ego feels insecure and kind of, like, annoyed and, like, whatever, that's my relative perspective. If I transcend that, if I go to, like, the soul's perspective, the oneness perspective, the fact that this is happening, like, this is beautiful for her, and I love that for her. You know what I mean? Like, I actually genuinely felt, like, joy and, like bliss. Like, it, like, I genuinely felt like my heart and my body expanding. You know what I mean? Thing is, when you feel negative emotions, you contract, your body contracts. When you feel positive emotions, your body expands, right? Like, for me, when I get anxious, I feel that shit, like, super, like, right here in the chest. I also get it, like, in my inner thighs and, like, near, like, near my groin, my crotch. It's pretty weird. I get, like, super chest in, like, my abdomen, like, crotch, inner thigh area. When I get anxious, I get, like, super, like, contracted and closed off. But then, I kid you not, like, I literally felt myself expanding when I started perceiving this, like, soul perspective. That's the dual perspective. You see what I'm saying? I wasn't just holding the ego's relative perspective, which was still valid, right? I felt insecure. I felt sad. It is what it is, right? It's not like I can't feel these things. But at the same time, I recognized that I was only feeling these things because I was only holding this perspective. But once I held this perspective as well of the soul, and I felt the love and the joy that I had for her, I was like, oh, wait, no, this is actually sick. I was able to balance these things out. I was able to transcend the duality. I was no longer operating from one, I was operating from both, which means I was holding both as one, which is the true perspective, right? That's the thing with polarity and duality, guys. That, like, as alchemists, I'm trying to teach you that, like, the thing is, all opposites, all poles, all two sides of a continuum, they're one. It's like a straw. Think of a straw. A straw has one hole but two sides. You can perceive it from two different ways, but it's one fucking straw. It's one hole, right? That's how reality is. There's two different perspectives. And if you only have one, you're only having half of the equation, which means that you need to bring both halves together if you want to have the whole thing, if you want to see it clearly. See what I'm saying? You transcend the victim paradigm by having the creator paradigm. This didn't happen to me. This happened for me. This happened to me and for me, actually. It's both. And when you do that, you can recognize, I'm not a victim. I'm an alchemist. So I need you to look at where reality is showing you these mirrors. Because when you look at these mirrors, you see the things within yourself that you need to transmute, that you need to alchemize, that you need to purify, that you need to burn away through the work, that you need to shed, that you need to reintegrate. You'll be able to see these things through the mirrors that reality is providing you. And when you go within and you have this alchemist paradigm of searching for the duality, of searching for where's the opposite perspective, right? That's all alchemy is. It's about holding, mental alchemy. It's all about holding the opposite perspective in your mind. And when you can hold the opposite perspective, it basically like balances the seesaw. Right now, you feel bad because you have an imbalance. But when you hold the opposite perspective, you balance your mind. And then you get back to peace. If you'd like a more in-depth guide on how to do that, like I said, come join Mental Alchemy, or come join our program, Masters of Alchemy, and go tap into Mental Alchemy 101, all right? If you don't know me, my name is Jaden. I'm a mystic, I'm a philosopher, I'm a polymath, I'm a healer. It's my mission to help as many people as possible live, or help as many artists as possible. Artists are my peeps. Help as many artists as possible live their most free and authentic lives by helping them understand who they truly are and helping them express who they truly are. And so that's why I'm so, committed to posting these videos here on YouTube, my writings and audio podcasts over on Substack, bridging the worlds of art, philosophy, mysticism, intersexual dynamics. I'm just so passionate about helping artists like really live the life that God has called them to live. Because they're probably not, because they're too stuck in here. So I want to help you get out of here so you can do that. Because I understand your pain. And so if you resonate with that mission, you resonated with this video, I'd appreciate if you join our mission here on YouTube as well as over on Substack. And if you want to take your journey to the next level, come join us over on the school community, all right? Do it today, be better for it tomorrow. Stay devoted, stay inspired, baby. Bruh.